Hello everyone, Jai Shri Krishna. I hope you are all doing good and I hope you like the video so far I have posted. Thank you very much for spending your time in watching those videos and commenting and suggesting me things which actually encouraged me to do better in my next videos. Thank you very much. So it is Mahabharata time again. I am here with the most important story of whole Mahabharata, which actually laid the foundation of the Mahabharata war. So in our last video we have seen that how Devvrat became Prince of Hastinapur and how King Shantanu followed the family tradition set by King Bharat and announced that Devvrat should be the next Prince of Hastinapur. So far everything was well, but now all the human traits and characteristics will jump into the story of Mahabharata. And the first characteristic which will come in this story of Mahabharata will be ambition and selfishness. So what happened next? It so happened that one day King Shantanu was just going around his kingdom just to visit all the people, and at one place he saw a lady sitting on the banks of river. She was the one who used to carry passengers in boat from one bank to another bank of the river. King Shantanu liked that lady very much, and he approached her and introduced himself as King Shantanu of Hastinapur. The lady introduced herself as Satyavati, and when King Shantanu expressed his desire to marry her, she told that this decision can be taken by her father only, so he should approach Satyavati's father. Satyavati's father's name was Dashraj. When King Shantanu reached the place of Dashraj, he first was very surprised that king of his kingdom has come to his small hut. But when King Shantanu expressed his desire that actually he had come to with the proposal of getting married to Satyavati, Dashraj said that in a way I am not surprised, I was waiting for you. Shantanu said, you are waiting for me? How? And then Dashraj said that birth horoscope, astrological chart of my daughter Satyavati says that she should be the queen of a kingdom, and who is the bigger king than you in India today. So in a way I was waiting for you. So he agreed to the proposal, but he had put one condition. He said, Dashraj said to Shantanu that I have one condition to this marriage. And because Shantanu had already suffered once by giving a blind promise to Ganga, he didn't give any blind promise this time. He asked what is the condition. Dashraj said that my only condition is that I want Satyavati's son to become a king of Hastinapur. So if you promise me that Satyavati's son will be the next king of Hastinapur, I am ready for this marriage. King Shantanu said that it doesn't make any sense, because I have already exercised my right to announce my prince. Devvrat has become a prince and he is good enough to be a king in future. So it doesn't make any sense that just because I am in love with your daughter, I will do injustice to my son. And by saying that, he came out of the house of Dashraj, and matters seemed to be closed here. But Shantanu could never forget Satyavati. He used to be less interested in kingdom's work. He used to pay less attention in royal duties. So this led Devvrat to doubt. Devvrat became suspicious that what is going on. Devvrat actually called the chariot driver of King Shantanu and asked that where a king is going every day in his chariot. Chariot driver, after some reluctance, said that alright, king goes to meet Satyavati, and he also went to meet Satyavati's father Dashraj for marriage purpose, and I don't know what happened after that. So this led to some conclusion to Devvrat, and Devvrat approached Satyavati's father Dashraj. Dashraj welcomed Devvrat in his home, and he said that your father has come with this proposal of getting married to my daughter Satyavati, but I have put this condition that Satyavati's son should be the next king, and your father didn't give this promise, so everything ended there. Devvrat, because Devvrat was very much in love and affection with his father, which all of us are, he was ready to do anything for his father. So, and plus he also thought that if king himself is not happy, how he will keep his people happy. So because of his happiness of his father, he was ready to do anything at that point of time. So Devvrat told that you approached the wrong person for this promise. King Shantanu has already exercised his right to make to announce his prince, which he made me as a prince. Now how can a person can exercise same right twice? How can he again exercise his right to announce the next prince as long as I am here? But if you approach me, I am the next king of Hastinapur till today, and if I wish, if I am willing, I can give this kingdom to anyone. So I promise you that Satyavati's eldest son will become the king. I will not take the kingdom. Satyavati's son will become the king. So it was a great sacrifice on the part of Devvrat, that he was almost ready to take the kingdom, and just because of happiness of his father, he sacrificed the whole kingdom. So Dashraj said, okay, fine, if you, but I have one more problem now. He said, what? Devvrat asked, what is the next problem now? So Dashraj said that just like your father was not eligible to promise on your behalf, how come you become eligible to promise on your children's behalf? So suppose tomorrow you get married and you have a son, and that son tries to interfere in the work of kingdom or tries to snatch away the kingdom. What will happen? It will lead to a war between dynasty. So what will be the solution then? So if your father was not eligible to promise on your behalf, how come you are promising on your children's behalf? Devvrat said that your doubt is not baseless. Actually, it is a good doubt, but I will finish off this matter from its root. So there, the epic moment of Mahabharata came when Devvrat took the stern oath. The oath not to get married throughout life, not to have children, and live a life of a celibate, live life of a celibacy, and be a servant to the kingdom rather than king himself. He said that I will be the servant of the kingdom. I will be loyal to whomsoever sits on the throne of Hastinapur. So this was the most epic moment of the story of Mahabharata, the most important moment, which actually laid the foundation of the war of Mahabharata. It's alright, whatever he did was for happiness of his father, for love and affection towards his father, but guess what happened? By doing so, he breached the principle set by King Bharat. King Bharat said that only the eligible and able person should be the king, and while taking this oath, what he did, that he sacrificed the kingdom for himself, and he said that Satyavati's son will become the king, who hasn't even taken birth. Nobody knows about the eligibility and ability of Satyavati's son, whether he will be eligible, whether he will be able to serve justice to the people, whether he will be able to provide protection to the people, whether he will be powerful enough. So by taking this oath, he actually breached the principle of King Bharat, and this led to the foundation of the war of Mahabharata. So this is the most important story in this great story of Mahabharata. So now we come to the portion of its relevancy or its applicability in our daily life. So what Devvrat did in this story, he actually, alright, he sacrificed for the happiness of his father, but by doing so he breached the principle. So how many times in our life we do something just because of love and affection to for our kith and kin? We just want them to be happy. We don't care what is the bigger loss, what is the cumulative loss to the society, what is the loss towards nation. How many times we see our politicians doing such act for the love towards their son and daughter, and keeping the benefit of whole country on stake. So this is the learning of a story, that no matter how much you are in love and affection or reverence or regard to someone elder or younger to you, how much you care for happiness of your kith and kin, the happiness and well-being of the country comes first. If country remains happy, then that person will automatically remain happy. The person's happiness doesn't correspond with the nation's happiness. But in other words, person can never be bigger than nation. You can't give person more importance than the nation. So thank you very much. I hope you like this bit of applicability from this story. Thank you very much for watching this. Thank you all. Jai Shri Krishna.